Welcome back, everyone, to AI Agentic Bros. And today we're going to dive into 7 things I wish I knew before starting to build AI agents. And before we hop into today's course, if you're a complete beginner like I was about 6 to 7 months ago, please check out our AI Starter Kit. It'll teach you how to start making money with AI. In Module 1, we cover the basics of AI, pull the curtains back and explain how LLMs work. In Module 2, we go over prompt engineering. And in Module 3, building your AI toolbox using tools like Manus, making custom GPTs, and even going over a bit of n8n. So let's hop into today's video just to give a bit of a background on myself. Looking into AI in December 2024, and initially I actually started with n8n, just kind of learning how to build agents using a no-code or low-code platform. It made it very easy for me to visualize and a good foundation to build off of when I started getting into other more quote unquote complex topics. Obviously, if you're diving into automations or building AI agents, these 7 tips will save you hours of confusion and frustration. Let's hop right into it. Make sure you start with templates. Don't reinvent the wheel. Use n8n's built-in workflow templates to learn fast, reverse engineer them to understand structure, best practices, and avoid beginner mistakes. Now, when I first started out kind of looking into n8n, the interface did not look like this screenshot over here. It was much different, and there were far fewer templates. And a lot of the templates that were there actually referred more to automation and workflow compared to kind of AI agents, because that's when n8n just came out with its AI agent feature. But now there's a plethora of templates to pull from. There's a lot of content for you to go look at. And it kind of makes it easier as a beginner to kind of look into what other people are doing, kind of look up different nodes or use cases that you want to go ahead and build yourself, and go ahead and look at that. There's no point of fully reinventing the wheel. And this is something that I had to kind of get over for me personally when I first started out. There's no point of constantly reinventing the wheel. You're going to burn yourself out. So go ahead, take a look at the templates, make use of it. You'll find it a lot easier to kind of learn from how experts or other builders are going about doing things. And when you do have a unique use case, you kind of have all that built-in knowledge for you to pull from. Next, make sure to learn how data flows node to node. So a lot of people are actually getting into n8n for the AI aspect of it, and obviously that's the most important part, right? That's what everyone wants to build. They want to build these low-code AI agents. But an essential part of building automations and workflows is learn how the data flows from node to node. Make sure you know how the data is labeled, going from obviously the trigger node to the agent node. Maybe you can put like a set or kind of rename the different values and inputs. It's important to kind of keep track of all of that, and not get too confused when you see an error code. And all it is, it could just be, oh, looking back and being like, oh, okay, maybe it's not the name, it's not named the right thing. Or maybe this node isn't looking for JSON, it's looking for just kind of just plain text. Or just know the input and outputs of each node and how they connect to each other. That's really important when first starting out as a beginner. Make sure you master the basics of JSON. So for me personally, I started off as a complete beginner, completely non-technical. I was actually a journalism major in college. I was looking to get into the sports field. So when I first started looking into AI and n8n in specific, I was pretty thrown off when I first saw JSON. I was like, oh my God, this is coding. Oh my God, this is kind of technical. But you just kind of have to stay the course. But basically, all it is kind of refers back to the third step that I was talking about before. Just make sure you kind of know how the data flows from node to node. And the most important aspect of that is actually knowing the JSON that's being sent from one node to the next. So make sure you read, learn how to navigate it, nested objects and arrays, learn how to manipulate JSON, and learn how to use reference fields. So if you have to reference a node that's kind of further back in the flow, just kind of learn how to type that out. n8n is really helpful for beginners. It'll kind of, like, if you kind of put the brackets, it'll kind of have suggested outputs for that. But it'll make your process and building a lot easier if you get a hang of JSON that much more quicker. You'll constantly interact with it, so just make sure you learn how to read, manipulate, and reference it. using expressions, and it'll be easier as a whole if you learn JSON earlier on in your n8n journey. Use AI Gentes to troubleshoot like a pro. This is a shameless plug. This is actually an app me and my partner have built. Basically, it's trained on n8n's documentation, and it provides up to date, accurate answers for n8n automations. Now, I've been doing a lot of outreach for this tool, and one of the main objections that I run into is I use Claude, I use Gemini, I use O3. Why can't I just continue to use that? Now, if you've played around and tried to troubleshoot with these general LLMs, we've all run into the same issue. One, the JSON's not always correct. Two, it mixes up the names of different nodes. It'll call the set node different things. It'll call the loop node different things. And then three, it may not always have the most accurate answer. AI Desk is built to combat that. We actually have a code for 25% off your first month. Link will be in the comments. Go ahead, check that out, especially if you're a beginner. It'll help you kind of work through your initial issues. It's trained on n8n's documentation, so it knows exactly what it's talking about. It's not going to have you kind of going on a wild goose chase looking for these different nodes, maybe even directing you to using community nodes, which I think is a bit more complex for someone just starting out with the tool. It'll give you good, solid troubleshooting advice to help you build out your n8n agents and automations. Make sure you understand how to use the merge and wait node. The merge node kind of merges data coming from multiple nodes, and then the wait node kind of helps you put a pause in your automation. Say if you don't want to give so many executions to one LLM, or you kind of want to have it process one at a time or process a bit slowly, it's important to kind of keep these nodes in mind. I'd say the filter node is another one, another very important one. And I'm kind of making an emphasis on these kind of um, more automation focused nodes instead of the AI nodes, because that's what n8n is built off of. That is the basis of this platform. Before it was an AI focused platform, it was an automation and workflow focused platform. So if you can learn how to use these more basic nodes, it'll help you that much more when you go on and start building AI agents. Now, webhook and APIs are your best friend. Um, when I first started out, for some reason, I completely disregarded webhooks. Again, I was extremely non-technical. I had no background. Um, but that's kind of how you connect to the front end. So if you're building an AI MVP, if you're building an AI product, webhooks is how you're going to connect to the front end if you're building it out in Lovable or Replit or Cursor. And APIs are kind of the bread and butter of your AI agents. That's how you connect your tools. That's how you kind of give it different functionality. It's very important to kind of learn how to go ahead, set up these APIs with the correct authorization, as well as use webhooks to their full potential. Hack to kind of keep in mind when you're looking at APIs, maybe on Rapid API or Appify, always look for the curl command, because instead of kind of formatting all authorizations, all the parameters, you can kind of take that curl command, copy paste that um, into the import curl section in n8n's HTTP node, and it'll kind of make your life that much easier. I didn't learn this, and I spent hours setting up API. It just made my life so much more easier to kind of copy paste the curl command there. And finally, bigger doesn't mean better. You'll see a lot of these convoluted, big web flows on LinkedIn specifically, just kind of saying, oh, I built a complete social media engine. I built a lead generation engine. You know, they always use these big words. Don't fall for the quote unquote workflow clout. Keep things smaller, more clean. It's a lot more efficient, and it's a lot easier to debug. Often, these people just kind of clip farm, for lack of a better term. They kind of have bots set up to comment on their posts. It's just not an accurate representation of what a production ready n8n flow or AI agent looks like. It's important to keep in mind that yes, while it looks good for social media, those flows are 1000% not production ready. They're not being used in any real use cases. So just kind of stay in your lane, learn your skill, learn how to make AI agents to the best of your abilities, use templates, make sure you learn the initial nodes, continue to build your skills off of those foundational building blocks that I've laid out in this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more n8n tutorials. And if you're stuck, don't forget AI Gentes always has your back. Check it out, 25% off your first month. Link will be in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.